Parshas Vayeira. This week's Parsha begins on the third day after Avram Avinu's bris milah. According to the rabbis, this is the third day after Abraham's circumcision, and it's the most painful and difficult in the recovery. So, Vayeira Elav Hashem, the Parsha opens with, and Hashem appeared to him, Be'elonei Mamre, in Elonei Mamre, Vu Yoshev Pesach HaOel K'chom Hayom, and he's sitting in the entrance to the tent in the heat of the day. Hashem made it, according to Chazal, according to the rabbis, Hashem made it quite hot, said people wouldn't bother him, and instead, Avram Avinu goes out and searches for people. So, it's too hot for people, so Hashem sends angels. Vayisa Enov Vayar, and he lifted up his eyes, and he saw. V'hinei, Shlosha Anoshim Nitzavim Alav. There are three men were standing before him, and this is where the rabbis say that these three men were actually three angels, not men as we know that, but angels appearing in the form of men. Vayar Vayartza Kasami Pesach Oel Beishtachu Artza. And he saw them, and he ran towards them from the entrance of the tent, and he bowed down. And in the rest of the story, he extends gracious hospitality. What about these three men? Shlosha Anoshim, famous Rashi. These three men, these three angels, were serving three functions. Echad, this is Rashi now, Echad Lavaser Sarah, one, to give the news that Sarah will conceive and have a child. The Echad Lahavoch Sodom, and one to overturn, to upend the city of Sodom. The Echad Larapos Avram, and one, the third, to heal Avram. In other words, these are all agents of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We call them malachim, which are angels. I've never seen one to the best of my knowledge. I don't know anybody who has. We don't fully understand them, but we do know what attributes are ascribed to them in our tradition, in our Masorah. And this is what Rashi continues. He says, She'ein malach echad oseh shtei shlichuyos. That one angel cannot perform two, meaning multiple agencies. These are agents, and each agent can only perform one task. Rashi's implicit question is, what do you need three men for? Just have one angel, and he can take care of everything. A super competent angel. And Rashi explains that, as Chazal say in numerous places, that one angel cannot perform more than one task. They are single-minded. Now, why do we need to know this? Well, there may be a number of reasons, but one that comes to mind is to help us understand the phrasing of the birchos Kriyas Shema, the blessings that are said before the reciting of the Shema Yisrael prayer in the morning davening, in the morning prayer, which is, it spends a lot of time discussing the angels. It says, Asher Mishasav Kulam Amdim Malam, his servants, his ministering, doesn't say angels, but that's according to all interpretations I've seen, it's referring to angels. They all stand in the heights of the world, and they cause to be heard in fear together, or in awe, with a voice, the words of the living God, Umelech Olam, and the King of the world. Now describing these Misharsim, these angels, Kulam Ahuvim, they are all beloved. According to Rishonim, this means that there is no kino or sino, there is no jealousy or hatred among them. Kulam Berurim, they're all clear. Kulam Giborim, they are all powerful. Kulam Osim Be'ma Uvira Ritzon Kanam, and they all do with fear and awe the will of their Creator. And now the introduction to the Kedusha prayer. They are all Kulam Poschem Espehem Kedushav Torah B'Shirav Zimra Murachim Shalachim Farim Maritzim Maktishim Amlichim. This is describing the intense event of the praising of God through these angels. And they declare the sanctity of the name as Shem Hokel HaMelech HaGadol HaGibor V'Nor HaKadosh. And now the problematic passage. This prayer was written, we assume, by the Anshe Knesset HaGadolah, by the men of the Great Assembly, who were authoritative in their interpretation of Torah concepts. So now let's listen to this. V'chulam mekablim alihem ol malchus shamayim zemizeh. They all accept on themselves from each other the yoke of heaven. Now we accept the yoke of heaven when we say Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And here, the passage says that they each accept the yoke of heaven from each other. And they give permission to each other to sanctify their Creator calmly v'safa v'ruah v'nima, in a clear and pleasant language or voice. Kedusha kulam kecharonim v'amrim bira. Sanctity they declare together. Kadosh, 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 familiar passage. Holy, 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 Hashem tzvakos malach haoretz, the Lord of hosts. The earth is filled with his glory. What does that mean? Two things. Number one, what does it mean that everybody accepts the yoke of heaven from each other and that they give permission to each other? What is going on? They have their own yoke of heaven, presumably. Each of them is tasked with a unique task. And what do they need permission from the other? They're angels. They sing. There are two types of angels, according to the rabbis. There are angels, permanent angels. We know their names. Gavriel, Uriel, Michael, Raphael. And then there are new angels, Chadoshim Labakarim, that are created every day to sing God's praise. Very deep, profound meaning here. We might get befuddled if we focus on the image of the winged angel, although that image is described both in the Navi Yeshaya and the Navi Yechezkel, in both Isaiah and Ezekiel. But the question here is, what's this business about accepting the yoke of heaven each from each other and giving each other permission? So Rashi in Yeshaya, this is in Perek Vav, says that this is based on the verse that says V'kara ze el ze v'yamar. They call to each other and then they say. And Rashi says they must say it all together because if somebody jumps the gun, then he is liable to be burned. An angel that jumps the gun and starts praising God early gets consumed by fire. What's going on? And why are we talking about this in our morning prayers? And I would like to suggest that we are putting this out there because we are called to emulate the angels. And this isn't just speculation, but it's actually in the next version of the Kedusha, which appears in the repetition of the Amidah. We say, Nikadesh es shimcha ba'olam, we will sanctify your name in this world, Kishem shemakdishimo so b'shmei moro, just like they sanctify it in the uppermost of heavens. So we are emulating the angels. As a matter of fact, when it comes to the Amidah and the Kedusha, we stand beregel yeshara. We stand with a straight leg, meaning we keep our legs together and we don't separate them. Why? To emulate the angels. And when we say kadosh, 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 we rise up on our feet. We kind of tiptoe for a moment. We lift our heels to show that we're like the angels going up. So we're emulating the angels. What's the message in this bracha? What's b'kulam mekablim aleim o malchus shamayim semisa? Well, we know something about the angels. Rashi said in this parsha, he says, each angel is fundamentally unique. Ein malach echad oseh shnei shlichuyos. One angel does not perform two tasks. In other words, each angel has a unique task. Each angel is unique. And yet, they work together, they must work together, in unison, in sanctifying God's name. What does it mean that they accept Ol Malchus Shamayim, the yoke of heaven, each from each other? Well, if we put this in human terms, because we don't know that much about angels, but if we put it in human terms and we say we're also unique, every one of us is different. We've mentioned this in the past. The Gemara in Sanhedrin talks about how each of us is unique, and we've explained according to Rav Schwab and Rav Kook and Rav Soloveitchik that every human being has a unique mission. So we're each unique. And rather than be critical of others or jealous of others or resentful of others who are different from us, we are called upon to appreciate others and to be inspired by others. We have our tasks and abilities. Others have their tasks and abilities. And each of us serves the one God in a different way. And as long as we are all dedicated to the sanctity of God's name and to the Ol Malchus Shamayim and to accepting upon our shoulders the yoke of heaven, then when we see somebody else, we can be inspired by them. And rather than being put off by them, they can actually enhance our spiritual being as we can enhance theirs. And what's nosnim v'shusel is that? What does it mean? We give each other permission? In other words, we don't criticize each other. One person may have a more punctilious observance of the law. One person may be more spiritual. One person may study only Chumash. One person may study Gemara. One person may study Tanakh. One person may be obsessed or dedicated to halacha, and others to machshava, and others to musar, and to Jewish thought, and to ethical preachings. And some people may dress in a way that gives them extra motivation and intensity, and others may dress in a way that enables them to be more relaxed and to be more whole and happy in the way they deal. Everybody's different. Everybody approaches God in a different way. But we give each other space. We give each other permission. Just because I do things my way doesn't mean you can't do things your way. As long as we are yachad, as long as we declare God's sanctity together. Kadosh, 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 Hashem Tzvakos, Meloch al Haaretz Kulo. Together, we must say, holy, holy, holy is Hashem, the Lord of hosts. The earth is filled, the world is filled with his glory. Have a good Shabbos.